This is Michael Kinnett with iTernal Networks. Thanks for joining me today for this video. We're going to be talking a little bit more about Microsoft Teams. On our last video, we talked a little bit about Microsoft Teams, what it is, and how you can use it within your organization to have better communication and collaboration with your employees. And as I promised in that video, today we're going to talk a little bit about the meetings feature within Microsoft Teams. Now, meetings can be accessed from several different places, and so I'm going to show you the different places you can find how to do meetings and the different ways you can use it within your organization. To start off with, we're in the Teams section of Teams, and if you remember from the last video, this is the groups within your organization. They're called Teams, and the different channels associated with that group. So what we're looking at here is the company-wide team and the general channel or the general communications channel within that team. You'll notice at the top right there's a Meet button and a drop-down arrow with more options that contains Meet Now and Schedule a Meeting. The Meet Now button is the same thing as pressing the Meet button, and Schedule a Meeting allows you to schedule a meeting in the future. I will go ahead and show you both of these features and how to use them. Let's start with Meet Now. When you click on Meet Now, it's going to open it in a new window with the settings for this meeting. It will start with a default name of meeting in whatever the channel you're in. So this example is meeting in general, but you may want to rename that to say, meeting to discuss whatever it is you want to discuss. That will display at the top of the meeting for all participants in the meeting. Here you have your option for your camera. You can enable or disable it, and you can set background filters. And what this is you can have the system blur your background. You can have it also add in different backdrops. Think about the weatherman, right, with the green screen where you can see the weather behind him. It's the same idea, but you don't need a green screen. This little gear icon allows you to select what speaker you're using, what microphone you're using, and what camera you're using for the connection. To the right of this is how do you want to connect for audio to this meeting. The default is computer audio, which will use the microphone and speakers on your computer for the connection. If you don't have a microphone or a good quality microphone, you may want to get a headset. Wired or wireless, either one will work with the system. You can enable or disable the microphone prior to connecting to the meeting, and you can adjust the volumes of the connection here as well. Phone audio is an option that may or may not be available within your Teams, depending on what licenses you have and what type of meeting you're setting up. It's disabled in this because of how I'm creating it. I will show you how it works a little bit later on in the video. Room audio is an option if you have a device that's compatible with Microsoft Teams within a conference room or within your office that's going to connect in. These are specific Microsoft Teams devices. I'm not going to cover those in this video because they're not very common in most organizations, or at least not most small businesses. If you have questions about them, post them in the comments. I'd love to answer them offline. The other option is don't use audio. It would probably be very difficult to have a meeting with your organization if you can't hear each other, so you probably will not use that, but it's available. If you click cancel, it'll cancel out. If you click join now, you are going to join the meeting, and you'll be the only one in the meeting. It will pop up a notification within that team channel that there has been a meeting started with the title that you created for the meeting. You'll notice on the right there are no participants, but you can see suggestions for different people that are part of that team or that group and that channel. If you want to request individuals to join, you can hover over their name, click request to join. Teams will then call them, pop up a notification on their screen, and give them an option to join you in that meeting. At the top, you have the option to hide participants or display participants. You can list the conversation and have chat within the meeting with participants. You can raise hands. So if this is a larger group that you're meeting with, you may want to mute everyone and have them raise their hand if they have a comment or a question to be unmuted. Breakout rooms is a very specific feature. This allows you to create different rooms and move participants into those rooms. Those rooms are each unique from each other. People cannot see, hear, or comment on the other breakout rooms. This works really good if you're doing training sessions or other things, as long as you have a moderator or a host that's going to be able to manage who's going into what breakout group without having to create separate meetings. The More Actions menu has the device settings, which I previously showed you for your microphone and your speakers. Meeting options shows some additional stuff, who can bypass the lobby, everyone, people in my organization and guests, or only me. If you want participants to join in the lobby and the host to have to allow them to connect, you would want to change this to only me. Do you want to allow callers bypass the lobby? That's only turned on if you limit who can connect. So if you change this to only me, you can now you can specify who can bypass the lobby and who can't. If you have this enabled, if somebody uses phone audio to call in, it will record their name and play a prompt saying, so-and-so has joined the meeting. If you want to disable that to limit the interruptions, you can turn that off here. Who can present? This is who do you want to allow to share their screen during this meeting? Everyone, people in my organization, specific people, or only me as the host. I'm going to change that. Do you want to allow attendees to unmute? Optional, depending on the size of the meeting. That may be something you want to disable. Allow reactions allows them to use emoticons within the chat and communications in the team meeting. I'm going to save this and close that. Back to this menu option here, you can also see meeting notes, meeting details with information on how somebody can call in, information you can copy and then email to somebody for how to join if they're outside of your organization. The gallery is the default view for looking at the group, and what that is as people connect, it's just going to show different in a grid all the people that are connected in that meeting. There's an option for large gallery where there are more than 9 users that you can switch it to, so you can see up to 27 users connected. Together mode is a fun mode, and maybe on a separate video I can demonstrate that with my organization, but it's a way of basically they cut out the heads of each video participant and puts it in a conference room, in an auditorium, and so it looks like you're kind of all in the same room while you're not in the same room. It's kind of a fun feature that they've added recently. Background effects, this only applies if you have your video on. Live captions, this is great for those that are hearing impaired or that are having a hard time hearing and understanding. If you turn this on, the system will try to automatically caption what is being said. I will point out it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So if you're having problems hearing, or if you have employees that are hard of hearing, then I would recommend pointing this out and using that for your meetings. Start recording is another feature that you can record your meetings. It will save them to Microsoft Stream, which is another app within Office 365. You can then allow that to be allowed to download or to share it with other participants. Turn off incoming video turns off the video for the other participants coming in. And dial pad is not really a feature that's used within the meeting. These buttons up here will turn your camera on or off. Will mute your microphone or unmute if you're already muted. And this one here will share content with others in the meeting. I'll show you how this works. If you click the share button, it'll pop up with another menu with your options on what you want to share with those participants in your meeting. The left column will display all of your screens. So I have multiple monitors, so you see screen 1 and screen 2. And then these are specific windows. So if you wanted to share, let's say I shared this, and then I wanted to switch from sharing this browser window to a different one, it's not going to work. They're going to see a black screen if I switch on my monitor. So if you want to be able to switch back and forth between different apps or different programs running on your desktop, then you want to make sure that you share the entire screen so that whatever is on that screen they can see. There's also some integration here with Microsoft Whiteboard, which is an app that does exactly what it sounds. It's a whiteboard. On a future video, I can show you some of these other apps like Whiteboard and how it works. If you click that, it shares Whiteboard with the participants in your meeting, and you can use that shared interface. I'll go ahead and close this, and I'm going to end this meeting and show you the next thing, which is how to schedule a meeting. Back here on the company-wide general channel, up here we've got the Meet drop-down menu. If we click Schedule a Meeting, it's going to come up with the meeting scheduler window, and this looks a lot like scheduling an appointment on your Outlook calendar. So if you're familiar with Outlook or other calendar programs, this is going to look mainly the same. So here you would name your meeting. Here you add required attendees. I'm going to add Rachel and Charles. And you can also add optional participants. So if there's people that you'd like to invite, but maybe it's not required that they attend the meeting, you can click optional and add those in this section. Here we want to pick the date and time. I'm going to put this for a specific time here. And you'll notice up here, it will automatically update the participants on whether they're available for that meeting or not. So you'll see Rachel and Charles are both free. I'm going to pick a different time where I know that they're both booked on another meeting. And you'll see Rachel's tentative on her calendar that she has a conflict, and Charles is busy. So that would not be a good time to schedule that meeting with those individuals. Here you have options for scheduling this to be a recurring meeting. There's multiple options: daily, weekly, monthly, custom, every day, etc. They work exactly the same as doing recurring calendar events on your Outlook calendar. Right here, because I initiated this schedule request from the general channel on the company-wide teams, this is already filled out. Add a location. If you may or may not need to add a location here if you're going to be doing a remote meeting through Teams, but you could put your office address. If you're meeting at a client site, you can put that there as well. Down here, I like to put the agenda and any notes for the meeting so that all participants receive that and know what's going to be discussed. And then once this is done, if you click send, it will send that meeting request to those that you listed, and it will automatically add it to their calendar in Office 365. The only other thing I want to show you is actually, instead of doing it from the Teams section, if you go to your calendar, you can do all of the same exact things directly from your calendar. So up here there's a Meet Now button to do an ad hoc or a meeting that starts immediately, and then there's also New Meeting, which is the same thing as scheduling it. If you click the drop down, there's Schedule Meeting and Live Event if you wanted to do a live event. We'll cover that on a future video. So clicking Schedule a Meeting from here looks exactly the same. The only difference is this Add Channel is blank. So if you wanted to add this to the company-wide general channel, you didn't have to manually select which channel that's going to be associated with. Other than that, you'd fill this all out the same exact way. Hopefully this has been helpful, showing you guys how to use meetings within Microsoft Teams. Look forward to our next video where we go over live events with Teams. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments before, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.